Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Fatback 4 podcast for this Sunday night. I am Gavin. With me, of course, I have Grizz, I have Seany, and I have Keith. This show is brought to you by Tayrock Watches, tayrock.com. Go there, have a look at all those timepieces, as the lads like to call them, and men, women, gifts, jewellery, all that sort of stuff. And at checkout, Daytrippers 15 for 15% off. Lads, I've been wearing my Tayrock watch for the last couple of weeks, and I have to say I absolutely love it. Never a big fan of watches, but this one is lovely, lovely, lovely. And because we're all idiots, we all pick the same one. So Keith, my watch on your arm, how's it working for you?
That's working great, Gav. It's working great. I've switched from the leather strap to the
mesh,
the mesh strap, and I didn't think I'd like the mesh strap at the beginning. It just sort of came with it. It was all about the leather, but yeah, it's like of a new watch. Now I haven't got it on me at the moment because I'm only out of the shower, but yeah, it's a top quality piece of kit. Bit of class about it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. Seany, are you strolling to Spar and Duns and all? Yeah, the whole lot.
There you go. There, look.
There you go.
I went out earlier on for a stroll and throw it on. It's nice, and like Keith said, the changeable strap is like a smartwatch in a way, where it has the two little clips. So yeah, again, very, very happy with it. It tells the time.
Grizz, you want
what more do you want the fucking watch to do? Like, you know what I mean?
It tells the time,
isn't it?
It's not giving me live score updates like my Apple Watch is fucking depressing me at the moment. So that's a plus.
Grizz, are you wandering around with 2 to 3 watches on, or are you sticking to one?
I usually am, but not today. I went out for a mini jog, walk, and I didn't want to risk this new watch of mine, so I took it off, and I have forgotten to put it back on. But I will be. But I've been I've been doing the alternate straps.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So it's all good. Yeah.
Good stuff. I've put a couple of mates onto it.
Tayrocks.
Tayrock rocks, or just Tayrocks?
Just what I said, Gav.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Chris. People, I think, were deflecting from this game again, won't they, like last week? But listen, where did I want to go? Yeah, I've sent a couple of my mates onto it, and they've looked at it and thought, yeah, lovely, and of course they're delighted with the discount. So tayrock.com, 15% off when you use Daytrippers 15 at checkout. Now, on to this. Paul Gormley is straight in, and he says, lads, let's get this bullshit about Klopp out of the way first. Virginia losing their minds.
Virgins, I'd imagine.
Okay. I thought the state in America was going mental. Losing their minds. It's really gone bad. The news has gone down badly in Virginia. But we will listen, Paul. We will absolutely get to that. But listen, Liverpool were beaten 3-1 by Leicester at the King Power yesterday, and in the early game. And we're going to go through it. We're going to talk on points, the goals, the performance, everything about it. But we're going to start where we start, and it's always with the lineups. And Grizz, I'm going to come to you first. I think I said that midfield to you, Grizz. I think I said Wijnaldum, Milner, Jones. He goes with Kabak, of course. With Henderson, the front three is normal. Anything surprise you there? Because I don't think you were too happy when I mentioned that midfield to you.
I don't think I was alone in terms of looking at that midfield and thinking, it's on its last legs in terms of Milner and Gini. So, you can understand the sigh of look at the state we're in at the moment in terms of injuries and fatigue, and you pull out that midfield again, and then you look at the midfield Leicester City were going to sort of put up against us. So, look, I was in the majority. I'm not going to sit here and say I was absolutely thrilled and looking forward to this midfield battle with them. Obviously, we'll go into the game and how we absolutely dominated them in the end. And this is the fucked up thing about us. This is the mad thing about this, this team, this squad. We were so close to playing the perfect away game. We really were. But obviously, we'll get into that. But yeah, overall, there was no way we were going to play both centre-backs. And then once Davis pulls out of training with a minor knock, Kabak gets the start, and the rest of the team picks itself. So with Fabinho out, Hendo had to come in or stay in, as the case was. And the midfield is what it was, with Thiago dropping out, which I kind of expected. but sort of, we were hoping and praying that sort of if Fabinho makes it, then maybe Hender would have replaced him in midfield. But it wasn't to be. It ended up Thiago coming on very soon, but the lineup was what it was expected, I guess, with one of the centre backs coming in.
Yeah, Sean, he couldn't have done much more than that, Sean, could he? Because, like, when you look at it and you look at the team, and there's an argument around maybe 1 or 2 on the bench, maybe could he have started, but overall, going away to Leicester, he picks what he can in midfield. He makes the decision at centre half. Up front is not going to change. He couldn't have done much more, Shawnee.
No, not really. With the hand that he was dealt, he did the best he could of a bad situation. And like Milner playing so many games in such a short space of time, that's caught up on him there. So that's him out now for how long again? So it's another one. But I'm not going to focus on injuries or anything like that in the past gap, because we kind of know now, this is our deck until May. Like, yeah. And it might get worse and it might slightly get better. So there's no point really being overcritical of Klopp and his selections now, because he hasn't really got much to choose from. And that's not only been the problem with missing our big players and the lads in the spine. The lads who are on the fringes, who you expect to come in and do a job, they're not available. And that's the way we are at the moment. Origi was out on Saturday morning. So even if he wanted to change something up top, he hadn't really got much option. And we let Minamino go. And look, he's doing what he can. I was disappointed when the lineups came out, because I want to see Henderson back in midfield. But again, his hands were tied. But look, if I'm being honest, that 11 didn't really let us down, because like Grizz said, we dominated that game for 80 minutes. It was just, again, another 5-7 minute period of madness that we beat ourselves again yesterday. And the mad thing is about this run or slide, so we're on, that game wasn't too dissimilar to, say, Spurs away or West Ham away. Both games in the balance right up until half time. We nick one before half time at Spurs, and then it's 2 moments of magic in the second half against West Ham. The goal yesterday is a moment of magic, and you're thinking, okay, this might be another 3 points on the road at Leicester. This is great. And then what happened. So it's just, it's tough, Gav, at the moment. It's a real down moment around the club for multiple reasons. And it's understandable, you know what I mean? It's completely accountable for. It's just, we have to keep digging in.
That's the key word there, Shawnee. That's the key word, is accountable for. Yeah, and as long as we have the faith and we know and we keep understanding that it's accountable, then there's a light at the end of the tunnel. As far as
absolutely. I know with you, Grizz. It's just like, what's the song say? I could live with being poor if I hadn't seen such riches. You know what I mean? We've been on a mad journey the last, let's say, 2 or 3 seasons. We've conquered Europe, so to speak, and we've won the league. We've had 2 real runs at the Premier League, coming out successful in one. So it was going to drop off. It's just, this is kind of not a banana skin. It's just, maybe we weren't expecting it. Not this way, you know what I mean? Not the way it's played out. It's a bit of a shock to everyone, a shock to the system, even to the players, to the management, to the owners, to the fans. So look, we just have to roll with the punches at the moment. That's the way it is. It's that type of season. Look at the results again today. Some mental results again today. So I think it's going to be that way until May, Gav, and we just got to hang in there, and we've got to trust. I'm not going to say the words trust the process, but I will say I trust Jurgen Klopp, because he's the best manager around, and he's in a tough moment at the moment, tough period at the moment. And if there's one man you want leading you out, pulling you through the shit, it's him.
Yeah, Maverick says centre back should have been Phillips and Kabak. Keith, I'll come to you. Were you thinking that, or were you always going Henderson and Kabak?
Yeah, not at all. I mean, I felt that Phillips probably should have played against Man City at the back, but I certainly wouldn't have been pairing him with 20-year-old Ozan Kabak on his first start. I think he needed somebody to maybe guide him through the game. And I know he's coming in for a lot of stick and all that, but I thought we played much better having a centre back there that could move. You know, no disrespect. I think Nat Phillips has been excellent for us. I'm in the. I know a lot of people think he's not good enough, so I could be in the minority. I think he's been excellent, but he's a certain type of centre back. He's not very mobile. I thought Kabak had that bit of mobility. And I felt Trent and Robertson played a lot like themselves in this game because of having that there. Now, ideally, I think we would have won Fabinho and Kabak in that centre back, but then obviously Fabinho misses out through injury, so it's Henderson. I mean, I don't think it's a slight on Phillips to say I wouldn't have played him alongside Kabak in this one. I just felt they needed that experienced head beside him for the Premier League.
Against someone like Vardy as well, who is like, he's an assassin. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
We've seen Vardy down to Kabak, we've seen down to the best defenders around Europe, even in that little run, the Champions League. So it's 100%. Like,
not only that, Seany, like they have the three in behind Vardy as well. They're a tricky team, you know what I mean? And to you know, you can concentrate all you want on Vardy. But then you have Barnes, you have Maddison, and you have Albrighton. Albrighton's not a great player, but he's a good engine. He's a stamina player. He's one you have to watch. So it'd be too much to throw, I think, Phillips and Kabak in there. And look, Kabak's coming in for a lot of stick on it, but again, he's a 20-year-old defender coming into a new league. People will say, oh, that's not good enough, blah, blah, blah. You have to give him time. This season, Seany touched on an excellent point there. There's no point now in pointing fingers and blaming this and blaming that and blaming him and blaming the players and blaming Jurgen Klopp. It is what it is now. At this stage, it is what it is. This is the squad that we have. Could get worse, you know what I mean? It's not going to get much better, but it could get worse. We could keep just losing a key player here and there. We just have to see it through. It's frustrating. It's not the way we wanted to do it, but it's the hand we've been dealt. And to just see it going like this is a sickener. But at the end of the day, you know, Seany said that if you didn't see so much riches, all this sort of stuff, it's true, you know what I mean? We've seen a lot of good stuff, and fans are just getting a bit too reactionary. And I say this all the time on our shows. I don't like being reactionary, and I like the way we've had a day to sort of analyse this. We're not sort of going in straight after, and emotions can be running high. There's no point in lashing people over after that game and lashing Jurgen Klopp over and lashing, you know, everyone else. It's pointless. It's the hand we have. It's the squad we have. We just have to manage our way best through it. And it could, who's to say it's going to be a total disaster? You know, people are saying it's a disaster. Well, we're probably not going to win the league. That's fair enough. But there's still a lot to play for. And, you know, results in other games, they're not exactly putting us to bed, for want of a better. We're in an awful period here, and we're not being put away by the other teams around us. So just hold fire.
That stat about us and United picking up the same amount of points in the last 6 games, but the narratives are completely different. You know what I mean? They've been writing these narratives about us before the ball was kicked this year.
Yeah,
you just have to deal with it, lads. And in fairness, I'll give him credit. He normally does throw up one for a soundbite and that, but Ferdinand hit the nail on the head yesterday, if I'm being honest. If this was on the other side, they'd be lingering in the mid-table. Yeah. They wouldn't be anywhere near where we are. So, look, there's a bedrock there to go on and salvage this season to a point where we can turn around and and say, you know what, we did our absolute best. Yeah. And that's all you can do, because it's the hand we've been dealt. It's as simple as that. And that's football. That's football. Yeah. Like, look, a year... It's 4 weeks is such a short time in football. Imagine if you would have told a Liverpool fan last January, hey, did you hear someone's making up about bullshit rumours about Klopp walking, and you think, yeah, you need to be fucking checked into a padded cell, mate. Like, the thing it turns around so fast. And as far as all them rumours go, it's all bollocks. It's absolute bollocks. There's not a chance that Jurgen Klopp would leave us high and dry in the middle of a season, because it's just not in his makeup. No matter what he's going through personally, the man is a natural leader, and he absolutely knows that those players need him more than they need anyone else.
Exactly, that's a great point, Seany, and it's something that does get lost. I think, you know, we've lauded Jurgen Klopp, you know, rightly, absolutely rightly. He's the best thing that's happened in our lifetime, certainly for Liverpool. Right, he is a genius. And the idea that he just walks out on us. Now, I know he's going through an emotional time with his mother, but is that a reason to think he's going to walk out on Liverpool mid-season during an absolute, you know, a shit show, a shit sambo that we've been dealt? No, I think it's absolutely ridiculous to think that and to suggest it. that this could come back and bite us in the arse. Someone in the chat is trying to say he had an emotional goodbye there at the thing. It's all just rumour mongering and scared, and I don't know why people do it. I don't know why, you know, Liverpool fans get anything out of this sort of nonsense.
They're odd.
Yeah.
People are odd.
People who do that are weird.
They get little hits of dopamine off the little bit of attention that they get.
Yeah.
And that's literally all they get in the day. So it's just a strange thing to do. And to think
True
that
drugs,
to think that news wouldn't actually travel as far as Klopp is fucking mental. Because we forget that these are humans. They hear everything. They see everything that we see. They hear everything that we hear. And it was just, you know what? It was lovely to see the lads in Anfield today just putting up the flags around Anfield, just letting people know who's fucking boss.
Exactly.
Because this will pass. Everything passes. And at the end of the day, he'll still be here. In the best case scenario for anyone who doesn't want Liverpool to succeed and is watching from afar, waiting for the fall, they will all be licking their lips at the thought of Liverpool without Klopp. But it's not coming yet. Just dig in. This is our toughest period since Klopp has come in. He's not going to walk the first side of trouble. So just don't be listening to that crap.
It goes against everything we know, doesn't it? Everything we've been led to believe, that we know to believe about him. This just goes against, flies in the face of everything. So there's no point even going on about that sort of nonsense. Just everyone just forget about it.
But Jonathan says in a super chat, he says, who's having a worse season, United or Liverpool? Well, it's interesting, you know, United are 6 points clear of Liverpool, like, let's make no bones about it. But United are being touted as you know, back, and Liverpool are being touted as finished, and there's 6 points between the two clubs, which, you know, that might widen, that might get narrowed. Liverpool might go past them, we don't know. But it just shows the narratives that are that go around, and Liverpool are in a bad place at the moment. There's no doubt about that. You can't. If anyone tells you that they're not, it's okay. It's not. They're in a bad they're in a bad spot at the moment, and it's just, and listen, would I want anyone other than Jurgen Klopp to try to get me out of that spot at the moment? No, and I can't for the life of me think that of another set of players that I would want to get me out of this. Have they been good enough? No. Have they been consistent? No. Have they been dealt a bad hand at times? Absolutely yes. I think worse than most. But they're still in a bad spot. They do need support. They do need help. They do need to get confidence back. But if I was the backup manager and any squad of players to bounce back, you know, it's one of those where, yeah, I'll take these lads if that's okay with you. Grizz, Keith says something there before, and I'm not going to skip over the first half because it was an interesting first half, but it all kind of kicks off in the second half. You know, I thought Liverpool did dominate. I think you were right, Chris. I think Liverpool were well on top. It's what I expected from Leicester. I thought Leicester would sit back and try hit us on the break because that's Leicester. You know what I mean? That is just Leicester. But he says something there. He says it's a bit of a sickener the way things are going. Are we gone beyond that, Grizz? Because I was a bit sickened, you know, over the last couple of weeks. But I know I did say I kind of expect this to come, but I'm kind of, at the moment, I'm kind of going, you just have to fucking take it on the chin, Grizz. It's gone beyond sickener now, isn't it?
For me personally, it has. Absolutely. Yeah. The events of last week, especially with the news of Klopp's mum, you know, coming out, it totally put things into perspective for me. I looked at things totally different, especially with my analysis or criticism or opinion on Klopp. And so, you know, let's say we go back a couple of weeks and when we don't know about Klopp's mother and anything, and when we're looking into sort of the decisions he's making around the team lineup, and we're thinking about the substitutions, you know, that all's been put into perspective for me. And I'm a massive, you know me, I'm a massive football fan, Gav. I love the game of football. You know me, you know, I'm a real football man, as they say. Like, no, I am.
Self-proclaimed.
I really am, right? But this is
waiting for a certificate to be produced here. Go on.
It's totally put into perspective, Gav. And I said this the other day when I said the only thing that matters to me at this stage is, because he's the main man, is his mental well-being, his health, his family's health, and everything that surrounds him personally in his life. Because as we've all discussed and touched and upon before, that he is the most crucial man currently in terms of Liverpool Football Club, bar none. So, we give him time. We send our prayers to him. Our best wishes, because as much as you guys are saying we need to clear our heads and we need to get our injuries back, absolutely, that goes without saying. And as much as you guys are saying that the best man's in charge to get us out of this bad moment, what we have to remember and accept, he's human. And he's going through a bad moment, just like Liverpool Football Club is going through a moment, and us fans are going through bad moments. So he needs his space. Guys, I can't imagine, guys, if anything happened to my mother and I couldn't see her, I could not function. Honest to God, and I don't know about you guys. I'm blessed to have my parents alive, and I would go mad, like completely mad. Never mind managing one of the most biggest clubs in the world and the pressures that come alongside managing Liverpool Football Club on the back of the greatest season we've ever seen and had, and all this media narrative of Klopp's losing it, blah blah, and he's taking it all, guys. He still hasn't come out and used it as an excuse or mentioned it even. This guy is grown in my estimation even more. People, we look at him as a god to us, but he's not. He's human. And so, Gav, in terms of sort of reaction to a loss and disappointments there, but it's nothing like it was a few weeks ago. For me personally, you guys can speak for yourself. I'm not speaking for the fucking Liverpool fan base. I'm just giving my personal opinion. His well-being, mentally, physically, in every single way, is the most important thing for me. So, that's what I just wanted. That's my opinion on things.
Yeah, another caveat to that, Grizz, on top of losing his mother, I think the one thing we'll all agree is Jurgen Klopp absolutely fucking hates football in its current format.
Yeah.
You can tell he does.
Yeah,
you can
it's
tell
not
he
what
really
he
does.
signed up for.
Yeah, I think he's gone on record saying, yeah, it's bullshit without them. And I remember when they came back in the programme notes about having fans back in the stadium and how emotional he was the night we got it over the line and at the party with the players. Like, this man lives and breathes the emotion that we do. Yeah. He'd just be kicking every ball on the sideline up and down, the fist pumps to the cup. He's a very, very emotionally charged human being. And right now, he's emotionally drained. So
absolutely drained, yeah.
There's no emotional charge there for him. And the players feed off that. And the fans feed off that. And one way to caveat that would be if fucking I think when we play next Sunday, would have been the first game at Anfield since everything happened, since it all came out. Yeah. Imagine the lift Jurgen Klopp would have gotten from a full Anfield and the players would get from a full Anfield. Yeah. Look, every team is in the same boat, and I'm not. This is not an excuse. I'm just saying the timing is horrific because they're not there. He's sitting in it. We hear the noise getting piped through in the ground, but they hear nothingness. They hear shouts from the players on the pitch, this and that. There's nothing. There's no emotion in the game anymore, and Klopp lives off this. Klopp completely thrives on this, and that's been taken away from him. That's one of his weapons. And you can tell he hates football the way that it is.
It works so well with us, isn't it? Like, he's emotional, we're emotional.
It's a perfect marriage. It's a perfect marriage. And people saying he's a sore loser and this and that. We had a week where we battered Wolves and we battered Leicester. And he's coming out and making the same points he was when we were getting beaten games. Turning around saying that the 3 subs rule is ridiculous, this, that and the other. And he acted as a bit of a spearhead, and I think he got made look like a wanker by a lot of his fellows, like peers, by the likes of Solskjaer and the rest, because I think he was expecting a few to stand up and speak up, but they never did, and he was on his own and that, and he ended up looking like a grumpy fucker in that scenario. And then that narrative has snowballed on here, and a lot of people have ended up looking like fucking idiots. And I'd say they actually feel ashamed of themselves, because like Grizz says, at the end of the day, perspective is the key word, and this has all been put into perspective. On and off the pitch, he's been going through a difficult time, and he needs us now more than ever. He doesn't need fucking toxic pricks starting voice messages, sending messages around social medias, because he's not in the headspace to be dealing with stuff like that at the moment. And look, I'm not saying Jurgen Klopp's going to be listening to this or there's anything we could do to give him a lift. I'm just telling you how I feel about it in general. I'm not one of these shy bags who's going to tell you how to support Liverpool. But all I'm going to ask you to do is one thing: support Liverpool. Support it. It's not going well, but you still support.
The secret's in the word.
Yeah.
Support.
Exactly.
Secret's in the word.
So where are you? Like, you're either you're not. Like, shit.
It shows your minerals, doesn't it? Like, if your reaction is to just bleed and throw your toys out of pram and be shouting about, call it as it is, blah blah. You never say this. It's crap. It's Klopp out. It's FSG out. You know, it shows your makeup. Support the team.
You're no good to anyone. You're no even good to yourself if you only enjoy Liverpool when they're winning. It's as simple as that. Because the highs are nothing without the lows, and it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Well, Motti Tariq says, no, we need some juice, Grizz. Give us some gossip. That, of course, is your friend from the official Norwegian Supporters Club, Grizz. So if you want to throw some information out there, whatever it might be.
Stick with us, people of Norway. We're in for a very huge summer.
This is like the Eurovision.
Addressing the Norwegian people.
Motti Tariq, can you quote me on that? Can you put me on the Norwegian fan sites? Stick with us. FSG will back Klopp this summer. We will have a huge summer.
Best thing to happen in Norway since your boys took a hell of a beating.
Well, I completely disagree with Grizz's statement there, but you're quoting him, so it doesn't matter what I think. But lads, we haven't even got onto the game yet, I suppose, and I want a kind of general thought from you on the first half, because as I said, it all kicks off in the second half. But just great words from you all with regards to Jurgen Klopp. My thoughts on it is that, you know, a lot of people will say, you know, football, you know, at the moment doesn't matter to Jurgen Klopp, his mother and all that, and that's absolutely true, in my opinion. But he's having to, with what's going on in his personal life and the loss of his mother, on top of Liverpool. Listen, I don't even know if it's Liverpool, if Liverpool are, because they're doing badly. I think Liverpool are flying. It's not going to make a fucking difference to him. When you see what's happening to him personally, it might help a little bit because things are, you know, in a much better space at Liverpool. But like, all I would say is, I don't really give two fucks what anyone says about Jurgen Klopp, whether that's to my face, you know, on a phone call, on a WhatsApp group, on social media. I don't really care. You're entitled to your opinion. But if my opinion on it is that Jurgen Klopp, I said it in shows during the week, he's the best manager Liverpool have seen in a long time, and I hope he stays here for a long time. And right now, he does need Liverpool fans, and he needs every member of staff at Liverpool, the owners, everyone around them, because, and the players do as well, because the players are suffering as well. But Jurgen Klopp has this thing on top of that, and you know what? Just take it. We run with it. We back him all the way, and I'll give you an exclusive. We're ready to rock and roll come the start of next season. I fucking firmly believe that. I think, you know, that might seem a bit of a flippant thing to say, but I think this will hurt. This season will hurt in more ways than one. And I think you'll have a team ready to absolutely rock and roll come the 4th of July in pre-season.
One of the most prominent, the most important players in Klopp's tenure has spoken and tweeted today. Yes. Just in case people haven't noticed. And that person is Mohamed Salah, who is sometimes accused of not, what's the word, guys? Help me out. Yeah. Caring, is it sure? Okay, so
I would say selfish. I'd say a lot of people don't link Mo Salah inherently to Liverpool the way a Robbo seems to carry himself like this, that, and the other.
And today that lad, you know, tweeted something, and since then I've been bouncing off the walls, guys. I'm going to be very honest with you, because I'm ready for Warzone afterwards. That's a different story, but I'm ready for it, because like, I've put on my army gear, right? I'm ready to go to war. Because when someone like Mohamed Salah comes out and tweets what he did, and his words were so poignant, I thought, and especially in a time like this, And it just goes to show you that the players are feeling the pressure their manager is. And I guarantee you that is a galvanizing tweet and galvanizing words. They were natural, they were pure, and they were meant to send out a message to everyone in that fan base. Because listen, these guys are on fucking social media. They read your toxic shit. They see your toxic shit. They're seeing it when people are sort of the slightest problems and issues and you're jumping ship like rats. They see these things. These players, it's 2021. Every player knows this, what's going on social media. And that was a message to fuckers that, listen, we know it's not good enough. So they're not saying, oh, everything will be fine. They're saying we know it's not good enough, but we also know there's, they recognize the issues behind it and we will fix this. If that's not galvanizing for you guys, then whoa.
Can I read the tweet out? Can I read it out? He says, it's been a tough period for many reasons. We are champions and we will fight like champions until the very end. We will not allow the season to be defined by the recent results we've had. That is my promise to all of you. Now, that to me sounds like somebody that's, he's getting well in the trenches there and they're putting a marker down. They know what's happening. Put it this way, right? Is this Liverpool squad bad all of a sudden? If you were to say to me, Gav said next year we're ready to roll, does anyone think that we're going to be going into next season as the 5th, 6th, 7th best team in England? We are now. Going to be going in there. We're going to be going in ready to battle. Warzone tell you that they'll all be in there giving it loads because this team is going to be ready and raring to go with a bit of bleeding, a bit of bite about them.
I love that it came from him as well because look, if we're being honest, right? If we're being honest, I'd say that not a single player in that squad. Oh well, maybe that. I'd say there's 6 or 7 players in that squad who you can turn around, and if they literally came out tomorrow or at the end of the season and said they want to try something new, you'd give them your best wishes because they owe the club absolutely nothing. That's happening with Seany Keith. Mo Salah could have said nothing. All right, he could have said nothing. He doesn't have to say anything. He's not under pressure to say anything. If you had to turn around to me and said, did you see that tweet? Who do you reckon put that out? I'm saying Jordan Henderson. I'm saying James Milner. I'm saying maybe even Virgil van Dijk from who's not able to play. But for it to come from Mo Salah, his words carry weight because what seldom is wonderful. Yeah. And that was a real tweet. It's not a canned tweet. It's not like it's something that his agent drafted up. It's not like something that Adidas told him to tweet. That looked like it was from the heart. And I can guarantee you them players are hurting. I can guarantee you that those lads are hurting. They will have pride that will be damaged. And they're playing for pride now. So the season's never a write-off. No matter what happens in the Champions League, pride is at stake here. And this is big for some of them lads. A lot of these lads can turn around at the end of the summer and say, you know what, I'm out. Because there's a chance. There's a chance that we might be playing Europa League football. Now, that's not my thinking. I think we do qualify. I think we finish runners-up, to be perfectly honest with you. He doesn't have to say that. The fact that he came out and done it half his own back, that means a lot. And that is a bit of a war cry. That's what that seems like to me. And
absolutely is.
I hope you pick it up. And I'd love to see this go on a run in Europe. I know we haven't got the magic of Anfield, but do not fucking write these lads off because there's still 5 or 6 world-class players in that setup. And you'd have to talk me off a fucking you'd have to talk me for a while to convince me there's not.
Yeah. No, listen, I fully agree with you. I think, and we still haven't got to the game. But I think fuck the game. We're going to just brush over the first half and then talk about the points in the second half because I think that's what most people want to do. But I think like now a lot of people, don't get me wrong, are probably watching this going, oh, what are these fucking idiots talking about? They're just they're hamming this up and it's all always up in the clouds and they're always optimistic. But I think I try judge it on the manager that's there, the players that are there, and I'm not judging them over this last 6-8 weeks, judging them over the whole course of when they've been here, and the positive far outweigh the negative, and we're going to get this negative, and the situation has come about because of different things, but I still think there's something in this side for me. There's still something in this side, And you know what? It might just need, in my opinion, it needs one game. It needs one bit of luck. It needs one result. It just needs something to go, yeah, that's grand. Because do you know what it is? Do you know when Liverpool were going after City 2 seasons ago and flying last season and going for European Cups, and we were going, geez, we're playing Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, lads, and or the early game, and we didn't give a bollocks because we were winning. And the players were going out and going, I'll play fucking Saturday, Monday if you want. I don't care. I don't care. I play every fucking day because we're brilliant and we're playing brilliant and the confidence is flying and I don't feel the lag. I don't feel you know, I don't feel sore. I don't feel pain. I don't feel injury. The groin is a bit at me. Who gives a fuck? And now it feels like a slog. They just need some spark somewhere, and I just hope they get it. And I hope not even to go and challenge City for a title because that's ridiculous right now. But I'd love to put in a really good finish to the end of the season, just to shut a load of people up. To be honest, that's in my head. It's actually to shut a load of people up, and I'm not talking about fans so I'm talking about people that are creating this thing about Liverpool and, you know, not balancing it out. And I really hope for Jurgen Klopp, for the players, for the fans, for everyone, that we can do something in this season and go, yeah, this happened, but we got where we needed to get, and let's go again. So let's hope that is what happens. The game, lads, I'm going to brush over the first half because Vardy hits the bar in the first half and you're kind of going, good chance. He usually buries them. I thought Liverpool were on top overall. I thought Mane was running at people. I really liked that. Of course, Milner gets injured and Thiago has to come on. But the second half is where it all starts. And Grizz, I'll come to you first because the second half starts, and again, it felt a bit like West Ham and Spurs. I agree with Seany, because a lot of games have felt like that, but I felt we were dominating them, and I felt our only way out was us losing the ball maybe in their final third and them looking to spring on the counter. In a footballing sense, they weren't anywhere near us for us. And then the goal comes, and it's a brilliant fucking goal, and I'm like, yes, that's what we need. You know, people go on about it goes in off someone's backside, but Grizz, that goal was like fucking yeah.
It's it's brilliant, isn't it? The quality of the goals not going to be talked about because of the rest of the game and the incidents and everything, but that was an absolute peach of a goal. We were threatening to do something in that first half, even before that goal. But I thought the insecurities are still there in our forwards. There's insecurities. There's not confidence in their play. There's self-doubt. You know, these are the things that we can speak about and we can talk about and criticize, you know. So the people out there that say, oh, we don't speak about and criticize, we're all sort of King Kenny clouds. Well, no, we can see it. We can see the insecurity in the players, the self-doubt, the pace of the pass, the final pass, the thinking. It's still slightly scrambled. But I saw so many encouraging signs, lads. I honestly did. I thought, you know, our control. Listen, let's not forget that this Leicester team is so hyped up and talked about. You know, the maddest. Well, but rightly so, Keto. Like you're talking about a good team, man. You know, Harvey Barnes. I told you guys, I'm not reactionary. I told you guys about 4 months ago that this guy's a quality player, and we've looked at him. So and you could see the fruits of that. He's growing into a player that makes impact in a game. You know,
perfect Rodgers team. I think Rodgers loves system players, and I think he's created a great system there where all of those lads work together. I think there's great balance in that midfield. And then, like I said, Harvey Barnes is excellent. Harvey Barnes is like a wing version of Vardy. He's just a pest, pace, can finish. I 100% agree with Grizz. I thought we were a far better side yesterday for the majority of that game. The vast majority. We look like the home team. And I don't think it was because of their setup. I thought their setup was actually causing the problems. I agree with Grizz. They're a good side. Leicester are a good side.
But you know what? It's most games during this run. Sorry for cutting in on you there, Grizz. No, you're cool. Most games in this run, we're playing actually well. We're doing the right things. And it's just the goals that we're not getting. I know it's a stupid, silly point that the goals aren't going in. But we're playing well for majority of games.
Keith,
and
the
then
issue
we're
is
just putting it away and we're leaving ourselves open to it.
Keith, the simplistic way of looking at it and the fact of it is Keith, we haven't got any consecutive lineups that we can put out there. This is, and people can downplay it. People can downplay it until all they want, but that's the basic fact of it. Every top coach will tell you consistency in lineup, especially in the back line, enables confidence to breathe through the rest of the team. So we go into this game. Who's the one? Fabinho out this game, right? Yeah, Fabinho out this game, and Thiago gets dropped, and we still haven't got the likes of Naby back to rotate. And even if we did manage to put, as I think Seany said, even if we wanted to change it with Origi, that's not possible. Then we've got a 20-year-old making his debut in probably one of the hardest away grounds, probably up against one of the quickest and most football intelligent forwards you'll find in Jamie Vardy, alongside our captain who's played 3-4 games. These are just basic facts of how games pan out. You know, the goals, what we'll touch upon, are individual errors based on, no understanding, between the players. So it's easy to criticize us for that last 10 minutes. And yes, I will criticize the sort of, we shouldn't have folded like that. I get that. But 80 minutes or 77 minutes or whatever it was, I saw plenty of encouragement to know that we're not a miles away from round the corner to sort of getting back to our best. When I say best, in terms of getting into this top four, we're not out of it.
10 minutes against City as well, done us last week, you know what I mean? And it looked, we got a hammering at the end of it, but it was a 10-minute period that they blasted us and blitzed us. And Leicester done the same in 7 minutes yesterday.
Lads, you said something on the podcast last week, and I'm going to put my hand up in a minute. I was wrong. You said last week about burnout and fatigue. The last 2 games have shown me that there's a fucking serious mental burnout with these lads. You could see when the goal went in. You could see Robertson's reaction. Did you see Robertson's celebration when the goal went in? It was relief. It was like, fuck, a bit of luck. They're feeling every single punch at the moment. That's the way it is. And players that you normally hang your hat on are making uncharacteristic mistakes week after week, costing us, right? This is football, and it happens. You're in a rut. You just to fucking get on with it and roll with the punches. This is what's happening. It's not going to happen forever. It'll go away where the ball starts flying in the back of the net. You look at Palace. Palace was a mad game. We didn't even play well, and we won 7-0.
Just everything went in.
No, that's exactly it. It's just fine margins. That's exactly what it is. It's fine margins, and we've just been on the wrong end of so many shit decisions, shit luck. But it's football. It's football at the moment, and it's just not happening for us. But I don't think it's done yet. I think there's so much to play for. This season is mental. Just think about the narratives people were writing about City in October, and you had Spurs who are title challengers, and the script will continue to flip. Look at the results today. It's gonna keep happening. I just trust us. I trust us to get through this.
Yeah, we're not a bad team all of a sudden.
No, well, listen, and you know what? I want to go through the 3 Leicester goals because it's important to, for different reasons, right? But I want to ask you all a question. It just popped into my head there because I work on the job. You know, as we're doing this, I do think. No switching off. But I want to ask you all this question, and Keith, I'll come to you first. Keith, then Grizz, then Seany, right? Do we now? Because when I looked at that, before I ask the question, when we looked at that game yesterday, right, I thought I understand people in the chat are saying, look, the attack isn't right, and I get that. Listen, you're judging it on such a high level that if it drops 10%, it looks way off. Do you know what I mean? And I get that. The midfield for me looks tired, a little bit disorganised, and just a little bit like they're running in the mud. It does look like that, okay? The defence is trying its best. Trent is trying to be creative, and at the same time, he's trying to defend. Robertson's trying to get up and down, and when we score, Robertson is like, it's real emotion. It's real kind of It's like it's letting off steam, and of course the centre half stuff. And we're gonna have to. We're nearly trying to rebuild something here mid-season. With the way we're going to do things. But the question I want to ask is, Keith, do we just decide now that Henderson and Kabak are our centre-half partnership for the rest of the season, and that's it? Well, and the reason I ask you that is now people will put up a case for Williams, Phillips, Ben Davies, Fabinho, whatever it might be. Pick 2 players. I don't really care who you pick. But should we just decide that these 2 players are our centre-halves for the rest of the season, and we're not fucking about unless we have to?
Yeah, I think, it's hard because in an ideal world, right, a lot of people prefer Henderson as centre-back and would rather see Fabinho going back into midfield because of what Fabinho will do to the midfield. And a lot of people would rather see Henderson going back into the midfield. I think it's going to have to be one of the two of them for the foreseeable future, playing back there with Kabak, in my opinion. But I said this earlier on, I think having centre-backs there, whether it's Kabak and Davies if he gets into, whether it's Kabak and Phillips for certain games and give them a chance, it will allow centre-backs to be centre-backs, midfield to be midfielders. Our full-backs will be... I thought our full-backs were much better yesterday in the game. They weren't watching behind them as much. And considering Leicester are a good counter-attacking team, I thought we were focused on going forward. I thought they were very well. It was a small glimpse, you know what I mean, on what we were like. But it's so hard. I mean, getting back to your point, Gav, yeah, I'd say go with Fabinho and Kabak. Fabinho could be out for God knows how long. So it's Henderson and Kabak. Do you know what I mean? I do agree. Settle on your... Pick a defensive unit, let's say. And if Fabinho starts the season as the fourth choice with Van Dijk, Gomez, Matip, and then Fabinho, then people say logic puts him as the number one centre-back. Well, it doesn't really, because he was the fourth choice centre-back playing alongside experienced centre-backs. So now you have to look at the situation and say, who's the best organiser of our players to play centre-back? It's a different ball game now. And maybe it is Henderson now at this stage. Maybe it is Henderson, because Fabinho has been looking a little bit rash there in the last few games that he's played. So maybe there is a case for it being Henderson and saying Henderson, Kabak, and then when the others start coming back, we'll drip you in, we'll drip Davies in for a game, we'll drip Phillips in for a game. But Fabinho goes back into midfield. And maybe that gives us more defensive solidity with Fabinho in at the number 6 role that he can drop in. Maybe it gives them the ability to, move Fabinho into centre-back during the game and Henderson out. I don't know. It's a hard one to tell.
I think I 100% agree. Fabinho, arguably the best holding midfielder in the world. I think if you're looking at how to overall influence the team with just one single move, I think it's putting Henderson back into right centre mid, because that allows Trent to be Trent and Mo to be Mo. Now Mo's been performing lately. He's been putting numbers on the board, but I think Henderson just in that right side, and he can cover as well. You've seen Henderson's recovery even while playing at centre back. I think you get away with it. Fabinho has been brilliant at centre back. Like you said, there's been a few times where he's made the tackle, but I think that's just expected. We're lucky that we have them in a sense that they can both do the job. But if I was to pick one, I'm putting Henderson back into the midfield, because I think he just gives you that bit more. And I don't mind Genie in the 6. I think Genie has
done well in the 6 as well. Yeah, he's done very well in the 6.
Genie can do that as well. So I don't know. Look, Keith, I'm one to say, fuck it. Put Davies and Kabak in. Yeah. Look, fuck it. Like, I think the second goal doesn't happen yesterday if Kabak gets 90 against City. Yeah. I just think that was one of them mistakes where a 20-year-old new to the team centre-back is not used to having the best keeper in the world behind him. Because, look, no bounds about it. He's the best keeper in the world. If Matip is there or anyone else, they're happy to let that run in the knowledge that they know Alisson's clearing the house here. It's as simple as that.
I don't agree on that one. And we get to that goal. We get to that goal in a minute. Grizz, do you want to just pick a centre-half partnership? Because I'm kind of coming around to the idea of just going, listen, they're the two. Like, I'm starting to think, just get Fabinho and Henderson back in midfield. Put someone else in there with them. It actually, well, we don't know how long Fabinho's out for, but if he's only out for a week or two or whatever, he comes back in, and it actually gives you more options in midfield, and you're not relying on people that you don't, I hate to say, you don't really want to be trying to rely on because they haven't been reliable, all right? And just go, listen, do you know what we'll do? We'll just fucking go at people. We'll go at people, we'll pen them in, we'll make sure our midfield three win every fucking second ball, and our defenders are only there to mop up balls and give it to the fullbacks, and we walk away. Is that an argument to be had, Chris?
It's a very good argument to be had. I firmly believe that Davies and Kabak would have started if Davies hadn't picked up an injury. I firmly believe that. I think we're at that point where there's only so much more we can slog Milner and Gini, literally. and then the fresh legs and the expertise of Fabinho and Henderson in playing in the Liverpool midfield is just too crucial not to take advantage of. It's just too crucial now, Gav. Davis and Kabak will have to be played now. I mean, it's just you got to laugh, guys. It's just the way it is. Davis comes in, trains, and gets injured. What the fuck are you supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
So and
big
so
step up for them. In fairness, to go from Preston to Liverpool, and probably the intense training sessions that Klopp is putting them through.
Well, this is it. But this is again, it's all part and parcel of the card that we've sort of been given. Like we have to deal with it. And unfortunately, it meant, the midfield was. I think the midfield done well. I do. But it was just fatigue, and we've touched upon it. It was just fatigue, and we continued to play the high line, and they caught us a couple of times. But it's the way we press, the way how intense we are in terms of our pressing midfield. It's key to how we can play this high line. Now, once that started dropping off from the 60th minute onwards, it's absolutely natural. We have to accept it. By then, we should be looking at not the defensive errors. We should be looking at our forwards that should have put the game out of sight. We had situations, we had circumstances that we should have put the second goal out, just like the Spurs and the West Ham game, where we killed the game. We didn't kill the game. No doubt, Kabak playing in his first start in an intense game like that after a week of intense training, no doubt fatigued. A lot of people saying he looked slow and cumbersome. I don't think he's slow, but I've said to you guys beforehand, he's not rapid. He's a powerful runner. And near the end, the power was drained because he's tired. Just that last 10, 15 minutes, it looked like the power had drained from his legs. He's a powerful player. He's a powerful runner. Overall, I think he done well. Obviously, Gav has his opinions on the goalkeeping situation and how that got. We'll talk about that later. But I think overall, Gav, we have to, going back to your original point, we have to play a fit Davis, a fit Kabak, and then release Fabinho and Henderson midfield. Yeah. I genuinely think that will be the plan.
A more solid midfield will give you a more solid
protection.
On top of that, then, that allows Thiago to do what he was brought in to do, because Thiago is drowning. He's struggling. He's struggling really bad. He was atrocious yesterday. And it wasn't for the want to try, and it's nothing to do with a lack of effort.
Sean, he was, but he's being that's down to Klopp and where he's playing him.
Yeah, I agree.
Linders need to step in and tell
people.
His hands being forced.
Yeah, but Thiago played like in a. I'm not using the term, but there was 2 6s at Bayern, and the other one beside him was Goretzka, who was a fucking marathon runner, an absolute Iron Man. Who was he's doing his running for him. So that's the type of player he had there. And then you have Kimmich, who was one of the best covering players in world football. So I think he was brought. When we signed Thiago, he wasn't a luxury player, but I think he was signed with the intention of being a luxury player. Yeah, that's why I think he was signed. He was signed as a player who, when we have teams pinned on the edge of their own area, it's just give it to him and he's going to open it up. The pass for Mane is about the only thing he's done of note since he came in. But he's been battling COVID. He's lucky to even play football again this season after the challenge. So he's been asked to do a job that I just don't think he's able to do physically. It just doesn't seem to be up there. It just hasn't happened for him.
It's epoxy storm he's come into. Do you know what I mean? Everything has gone against him. The injury, when it happened, the length of time he's been out, the desperation to get him back in, and then playing him here, there, and everywhere. I mean, let's be honest, we're not going to see the best of Thiago till next season. Till we line up as our normal selves with a player like Thiago, you will see the best of him. And people writing him off are writing him off well too early.
No, I think that's why I'm with Grizz. That's why I'm with Grizz, because like Grizz said it a long time ago, a couple of minutes ago, was consistency. I will see progress, and we will all see progress once you're looking at the team sheet every week going, yep. 0 changes, no changes for Liverpool this week.
We don't know the team. Do you know when we try to predict the team? Do you know when we try to predict the team? We can't.
Forget about it.
We're able.
And do you remember last season?
A step back 4, a set midfield 3, or a mixture, because that's what we've been on the Champions League run and the league title run. It's always been who's going to be the third man in midfield.
Yeah,
it's always been that. It
and
was
different
always
horses for courses as well.
exactly.
Keita offers something, the Thiago offers something.
Correct.
Oxlade-Chamberlain at his best offers
100%.
something different,
So,
and it's putting them in and it's using your squad, which we're not able to do.
But I think the experiment of, you know, it's not being an experiment, that's the wrong word. The necessity to use the likes of Henderson for being your out position, and then you're actually playing midfielders all the time and probably not in roles that they're probably accustomed to. You know, I think it's not working. There's a strong argument, in my opinion, to go back to going, listen, just put the 11 names down that you have and put as many of them as you can in the position they're meant to play. And if you end up with one young centre-half in Kabak and one midfielder that has to go in there, that's what we're going to have to do. But if we've two centre-halves, put them fucking in there. Yeah. Put them in there because they're centre-halves playing centre-half. Yeah. And listen, it's not working for us doing everything else. Like Henderson and Fabinho have done honourable jobs there. I'm not saying they haven't. But at the end of the day, you have to go, listen, they're doing honourable jobs and we're just losing out everywhere fucking else. And it's still affecting us. Let's just put whoever it is at centre back. You're a centre back. Well, Grizz.
No.
My argument to it is that what proof have we got over this period that playing, you know, the whole square peg round hole thing is working for us? We don't. Right?
No. What I was going to say is what I disagree with is I wouldn't use that theory across the board. I wouldn't say play centre backs in centre back positions because previous to sort of not signing these two guys. So imagine we had Reece Williams and Phillips. I wouldn't advocate that.
No.
Do you get what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But the fact that we've invested,
it's been. I started with the word.
That's a different story.
But I started that with necessity, right? It's if we can get away from being a necessity, okay, and you can go Kabak and not Phillips, whatever it might be. I'm actually for that now. I'm actually for that and going, listen, instead of us trying to protect the midfield, who in turn are trying to protect centre backs, who, you know, we know that's the area, and we can play a game plan around that. Whether that's get everyone up high, and like Liverpool used to do, get up high, win second balls, and people like Kev O'Sullivan says, Gav, you can't do that. You can't do that for 290 minutes a week because it doesn't work like that. But I promise you, if players can get into a rhythm and a winning ball and winning games and pinning teams back, the other team gets late, the other team gets tired quicker than you because they're chasing ball all the fucking time and you're on top of them and you're in your face, and by doing that you're protecting that supposed weak area. But I think I'm nearly turned to the idea now of just going, listen, have we two fit centre halves? Yeah, play them. I don't give a fuck now, because we just need to get the, very prominent midfielders into midfield, and that makes the rest of it work. We spoke for so long about how functional our midfield is, right? And how it helps the rest of the team. At the moment, our midfield is not functional. It's not functioning. It's not even functioning for me. It's just there. It's just on the pitch because we have to put 11 players on. If we can make that more functional. No, I'm not saying we didn't. I'm not saying for a minute that we didn't. But I'm just saying in the long run of things here, I think we need to. I'll put it this way: we didn't play badly, Seany, yesterday. But I think if we have had Henderson in midfield there yesterday, I think we've strolled that game. I genuinely do.
Yeah, but look. One thing that nobody said, we haven't even been able to rotate our midfielders because the lads on the fringes haven't been available, and then our main two are playing at centre back. So we haven't even been able to. And then you seen yesterday, like Curtis Jones putting his head down to run back. Like, we all played football. When you're doing that, you know, you're bollocks. Yeah. And that's not a slight on him. He's a kid. He's a kid. At the end of the day, he's a kid. I know he was probably harsh on Kabak yesterday, and then I realised, fuck's sake, Sean, he's 20 years of age. Because you forget that. He's 20 years of age. We forget this because this is a lad that we're hanging our hat on for the rest of the season. But he's a kid. He's 20 years of age. So we can't be overcritical on him or any of them because the situation is just fucking mental that we're in.
It's another. Listen, he's a 20-year-old playing alongside another 22-year-old who's, you know, Trent, who's been criticised and trying to look after his own game, and now he's got another new partner. And oh, look where the goal came from. that side again. So, guys, there's so much fucking context behind this.
I thought everyone is going on about Trent being poor defense. I thought a moment's Trent looked brilliant defensively again.
Great covering a lot of times.
I don't see what Leicester done against us yesterday.
No. But do you know what they did, Gav? They took their moments when they got them, and it's just that's what good players do. That's what really good players do, and that's what they did.
That's fair.
They just capitalised. It was as simple as that. I think the ball should have. If we're going to get onto the goals, I don't give a fuck about offside, inside, outside. I don't care. It is what it is. These decisions are happening in grounds all over England every week. I don't think there's a mass conspiracy against Liverpool. I genuinely don't. I just think the refs and officials are fucking shite. I think you cannot gloss over it any other way. I'm sorry. We've seen
it in every game. I agree with you. Because I'd agree because what you're seeing is you're seeing decisions that are they're reversing on themselves, right? And then the consistency, it's just it's not even like they're making it up anymore. It's just like let us have a look at that. And it's like, we give that. Go on, we give that. Like the Harry Maguire one today was fucking insane how he even thinks of giving a penalty for it. But like, let's Arsenal Fan Circle channel is really enjoying this podcast. By the way, he's just putting a chat to say. But he says Leicester are a team of all pros that lay waiting for their chances, but when they do, they are very efficient. I think that's a very, very, very good point. On the goals, Grizz, any arguments over the first one? Because I don't really.
The first one.
What
Leicester's first one.
Offside one.
It's a horrible decision.
It's one of the worst. Jesus.
It's the
consistency. It's the consistency, Sean. They're measuring the lines off different parts of the body, and if that's offside,
it made no difference. That didn't make a difference. The ball should have been dealt with.
Well, you could say the ball should have been dealt with, and that is fair enough, Shawnee. But if 1 week they're measuring it against one part of a fucking sleeve, and the next week they're measuring it against it, if you knew where the fucking thing was marked, and VAR,
but you see, that's the thing, Keith.
And it's easy to use, but
lads, don't do this.
Keith, don't do this to yourself, because you know what?
I will.
Do you know what it is?
What?
You're not seeing what they see. This is the problem. Grizz, you have an issue with that goal yesterday, right? I can promise you what you see on that screen is not what they see in Stockley Park. 100%.
I accept that.
It's not, Shawnee. It's not.
No, do we not get piped?
No,
through?
You're showing a graphic. You are not seeing the actual minuscule lines. You're not seeing it. I'm telling you, you're not. There's no way, because right. Hold on.
Why not though? Why not then?
Because
it's not fair enough. Why?
No, it's not.
The point
it's not fair enough.
But I was going to say, why
it's not fair. It's not fair enough.
If they're not seeing the graph, the one they did,
Shawnee,
the one they did show is on a different part.
Yeah, so hold on, Shawnee.
One by one, lads.
Shawnee. Yeah, we get given out to if we cut across each other. So
I think it's mad, boys.
Shawnee. No, listen, Shawnee. If you think that what you seen on that screen yesterday is what they see in Stockley Park and they make that decision, stop VAR. Right? This is the whole thing. They are using that is just a graphic you're seeing. It's a representation of what they're looking at. That's what it is.
It's moving in real time.
It's moving in real time, but you're looking at big thick lines, Shawnee. They're going by minuscule lines. And then you're seeing dotted lines up. They're seeing minuscule lines, Shawnee. And this is what
I don't get you at all.
See the two lines that you see yesterday. Listen,
there's loads of lines, Gav. You see all the lines.
Yeah. There's two thick lines you see going across the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're looking at lines much thinner than that. And this is why I'm saying, Shawnee, yeah, they're drawing lines up. You're not seeing exactly what they see. And this is my point from the very, very, very start, right? The transparency of VAR is all over the shop. Over the shop.
Where are you getting that from?
It was brought up earlier in the season. It was brought up earlier in the season. It was brought up earlier in the season on an incident where it was shown two lines. People were like, the lines are bang on, and there was a big thing made about the lines that they see is much smaller. Why? That's why I don't know why. I don't know because Seany, I swear to God, because that was at the point when I said, here, listen, they're not even showing us on the TV what they're fucking seeing. There's no point in arguing this anymore.
I'll have to get that Dale Winton from ESPN. Is it Dale Winton?
I swear to God, it was this. lads.
No, I'm not gonna argue. Yeah, the fact of the matter is, fucking the officials are brutal anyway, lads. If you're fucking giving out about hair's breadths for offside, this is it. It's been happening since the fucking
It's the consistency or the inconsistency that gets with me. There was a penalty today for that Wolves got against Southampton for a handball. That was no different than ones that we don't get,
because there's a different fella making it every week, Keith. Yeah, look, you're absolutely mad. Look at the results in the last fortnight, or the mistakes that they made. Yeah. There's the offside at Man City, right, where they come out and say, sorry, it won't happen again. Literally what they said. Look, it shouldn't have stood, but sorry, it won't happen again. And then the fucking red card with Souček is mental.
And that is.
Klopp said it. Look, guys, Klopp said it.
Mike Dean comes out and saying, what's the start? Do you know what? I'm a human too. Don't abuse me. I'm telling you now, we're going down the route where the refs are going to be going out on a pitch with balaclavas on, so we don't even know which ref is managing the game. So
it's the best way.
It's the accountability is becoming less and less. What's less than zero? These fellas are going to be walking out in face masks where you can't even see them. You can't even identify them. They'll be wearing fat suits just so John Moss is covered. That's what they'll do.
Look, I'm done with arguing about VAR decisions.
It's a waste of fucking 10 minutes every show because it's mental.
Let's not waste it then. Stop, Gav. Change the topic.
No, listen. Listen.
What I will go back to. You asked me the question generally. You asked me the question at the start, so I'm going to go back.
Yeah, well, before you do, I just want to say that this is why I stopped about VAR, because I seen a thing where they were saying that, listen, what you see on the screen is not actually what they are. Exactly what they are dealing with on the screen, and I just went, listen, forget it. And I've been saying it from the very start that the transparency and all this is way off, and that just sealed it for me. People are saying, are you making this up? I'm not, because that's why I stopped talking about it.
I'm going to find out if you're making it up, because I'm going to DM Dale Winton from ESPN and try to get him on a pod.
Winton is all played supermarket sweep, you lunatic.
People know People know the Dale I'm talking about. But anyway, going back to that goal and the situation, I think what we need to analyze and what we need to discuss, possibly, maybe we haven't got time now, is the fatigue of Thiago tracking back there, which enabled him to sort of make that foul in the first place, which could have been a penalty or not. And these are the issues, or these are the small, fine margins that when we're talking about the difference in Henderson in that position and Thiago in that position, that doesn't happen. You know, you see Henderson sort of giving out to Thiago to stop nibbling away at them when it's sort of in danger areas. And Thiago's one of the smartest footballers in the world, most cleverest footballers in the world. But when fatigue hits you, it doesn't matter how smart you are. It's natural when you're tired, the mind's tired, the body's tired, and you make rash decisions. And he seems to be making rash decisions in his tackling. And that's what we need to address, as opposed to these decisions that are going for us and not for us. Fuck them. Who gives a shit? They go for us, they don't go for us. It's a mad... The officiating is crap, we know that. But that's what we need to address, in my opinion.
Mic them up and hear what the fuckers are talking about.
Yeah.
No, they'll never do that, because
they won't.
And simply just on the evidence of this season, just as Seany said, they're all over the shop. And simply on the evidence of this season, they are never going to mic them up, and they're never going to make them more culpable to the decisions they're making. Seany, second goal. We'll lash through these now. Second goal. I want to start at the start of this move, because Mane is shoved to the ground on the edge of the Leicester box, and there's no free given. Like, what the fuck is going on there, Seany? It's the clearest free kick of the day.
They didn't check that. They wouldn't even have looked at that. That's what it was. It wouldn't even been brought to their attention, to be honest with you. Lads, you're mad. You're actually asking these lads to be competent. It's just not going to happen. So forget about it. There's no point even talking about refereeing decisions anymore, because it's literally becoming part of the game. And I have a pain in me bollocks. I'm sure Grizz does. I'm sure Keith does. I'm sure you do. But what I can see from the comments is that 90% of the people do. Nobody likes VAR. Nobody. Not even Andy Young. He even pretended to like it. He doesn't like it. Hates it. He even hates it now.
It's not VAR. It's the saps that are controlling VAR.
Exactly. So, Gav, look, we're giving out about the free. it should have been dealt with beforehand. I think the goal should be.
Well, that's how did he not see the free kick on the pitch? Forget about VAR. How's the ref not seeing that? Similar to the Salah one against Fulham, pushing the back, 2 hands, not even a nudge. It's a 2-handed push in the back. Why is that not a free kick? You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It's just incompetent. Who was the ref yesterday?
They're all the same.
They're all the same to me. I don't even know their names anymore. I used to know their names.
Anthony
Taylor. Absolute.
Yeah.
I can't even say it. Can I say it, Gav? No, I'm not going to say it.
No, don't say it.
Yeah, don't say it.
Yeah, in case he's watching.
But yeah.
But
look, the content. Look, let's not sort of the crux of the matter of the second goal is nobody wants to know what happened previously. We know Sadio Mane get pushed, but the debate or the talking point is whose fault is that? We probably have split opinion. I'll go myself. If Alisson has called for that, then it's Kabak's fault. But I don't blame Kabak because that's how our keepers play.
Exactly.
Alisson was bought for this sweeper role, and he's been doing it immaculately. So I don't think, and this is going to sound weird and mad, but I don't think either of them are at fault. If you know what I mean. It's just a miscommunication that happens in every level of the game at some point, especially when you have 2 newbies playing, and it's just a matter of understanding miscommunication.
Keith?
That's not sitting on the fence.
Well, do you know what my take on it was that I'd attribute the blame to Alisson, but then I'd put it down to just that's what happens when they're new to each other. That's what happens. This comes with inconsistency of the personnel. Alisson 10 seconds before shanks one into midfield, so I think it's just him being proactive to kind of make up for it. I think it was Alisson's fault. I don't know if he didn't shout. I didn't shout. I was listening to Blade and McMahon.
Alisson didn't shout, according to a lot of people in the chat. And
no, but no one knows. Stop ignoring the chat.
Hold on. No, I won't stop reading out the chat. It says here.
I don't mean that. I don't mean
from all angles. Right. Well, I'll put it up there.
The chat. I'm saying stop believing that. How can you believe
from all angles? From all angles, Alisson never called for it.
Listen, the one thing I'd say about it is Kabak is looking at the ball in the air, coming over the shoulder, running back to deal with it. Alisson should have let him deal with it. Now, I think it's Alisson's fault, but that's not to dig Alisson. Now, I think Alisson just trying to make up for a sticky period of form that he's had. He makes the mistakes last week. He has a couple of loose passes, as Seany said in this one, and he's just trying to deal with it. He's trying to be a leader. And, we want our players to do that. But it just couldn't happen at a worse time.
Klopp's words were, Klopp said he doesn't know if Alisson shouted, and that's it. We don't know. If he did,
looking at it, but you should see the picture.
It happens, lads. That happens.
It absolutely happens.
It does happen, but I would put it on Alisson's doorstep. Because if you watch it back, and people are saying, "Oh, Kabak is getting to the pitch of the ball. He's getting to the pitch of the ball."
He's not that way. He's not.
Seany, he's at the pitch of the ball. He makes contact with the fucking thing.
He's trying to control the ball coming over his head.
No, I don't think he is. I think it's coming over his head, and I think he is struggling. But I think he's making the pitch of it to try put it out towards the right fullback.
Come on, guys! How many times has Alisson come out and headed it away?
Correct.
And we're laughing and we're making.
Hold on.
Alisson and
he doesn't clean out his own centre.
Hold on.
It's like asking a blatant cat to back. This is what he does, for fuck's sake.
That is what he does. But listen to me. He doesn't do it on the full volley. That'll come over the top, it'll bounce, and he'll come onto it, right? He judges it.
He done it against City.
He judges it where it comes over, and he meets it. This was him running directly at one of our defenders, right? Kabak, if you watch it, is going to make that ball, and in my opinion, is going to try hook it. I'm not saying pass it to Trent. He's trying to hook it out towards the right touchline. Alisson comes in from nowhere and cleans him and everything out, and the ball happens to fall to Vardy. I think it's Alisson's fault.
Whose fault was it when Van Dijk and Alisson had a similar clash against Fulham and they had a tap in? Do you remember, guys?
Van Dijk.
Yeah.
Whose fault was that?
That was Van Dijk. Yeah, Van Dijk got to it, didn't he? And
Explain.
He sort of knocked it or something.
That was one where Milner hooks it up in the air at Craven Cottage. Is that right?
Yeah. And they have a misunderstanding.
You know what? I'm with Phil Casey in the chat. It's no one's fault. It's fucking part of.
Why are you with me? I said that. Why are you suddenly going with Phil Casey? Like I said that it's no one's fault.
It is not. Yeah,
it's no one's fault. It happens.
It's no one's fault. It happens. It's football. So why does everything?
We don't need to have a scapegoat. Yeah, we don't need to.
That's the key word. That's the key word, Keto. It can be because every goal.
No one's making a fucking scapegoat of anyone. I'm just saying, in my opinion, the ball comes over the top. Kabak looks like he's struggling a bit, but he's making the pitch of the ball. If he makes the pitch of the ball, he sends it in the direction, for me, naturally out towards the right wing. When it comes over, he's going to the ball. Alisson comes out, hits him and the ball, it squirms across to Vardy, and he runs in and taps it in. There's no business for the key goalkeeper to be there. If that's going 5 yards beyond Kabak and he's not making the pitch of that ball, and Alisson comes out, calls him, and Kabak runs straight into Alisson, you go, what the fuck are you doing?
Alisson's reaction said it all as well. He wasn't balling Kabak out.
Eunice makes the most important point in these situations. A keeper should always communicate in these situations. If his communication hasn't been clear and loud enough, then that is Alisson's fault. But I'm not going to lash Alisson out for making that decision to sweep up, because that's how he plays.
It's Alisson's fault for not doing Turkish lessons.
Yeah, well, I just think, like, listen, I'm not calling for Alisson to be dropped or fucking sold.
No.
Come on. But what I'm saying is, I'm just saying, in that instance, when I looked at that ball going over the top, and I seen Alisson coming, I went, what? And then when I seen Kabak actually making the pitch of the ball, I thought, he cleared this. And I actually thought he'd still clear it with Alisson coming. It's just at the timing of it, Alisson is just bang on top of him. That's what I'm saying. So all I'm saying is, if that ball goes 5 yards beyond, like Seany says, that ball drops 5 yards further on, Alisson is on it like a light. Like you say, against City, against other teams, he comes out and gets his foot to it, or if it's a high dropping ball, he gets out, it bounces, he comes out and heads it, right? But for me, he's too far out, for one, and two, he's not watching the defender who's actually making the ball. That's all I'm saying.
I think he wants to take ownership of it, and he wants to start,
maybe so, yeah,
putting his own stamp.
Proactive in that.
He's trying to just sort of, this is what I do, as we've all said. This is what the way he plays, and you take a keeper like Alisson, you take every facet of his game. How many times a game does he do that? As Seany said, he done one against City last week. He's coming out, he's winning headers. It's the way he plays. This time, I think he was just a bit too eager to do it. And he just runs into his own player. Shit happens, we get over it. You know what I mean? I'm hoping now it's not a bleeding, and I'm not saying it will be, but, I'm hoping it's not a Jersey Dudek when he bleeding spills two against Diego Forlan, and his confidence has gone from there down to the gutter. And I hope Alisson, we all said it last week after the mistakes, he's got big shoulders, he bounces back, and I felt he tried to bounce back. I felt he tried.
Yeah, 2 minutes later, Two minutes later, he makes a ridiculous double save. That's just how it is world. So
Exactly.
And maybe he's trying to overcompensate for the Phil's case. He says there, maybe we're discounting the fact that young centre back. Maybe he's trying to overcompensate for the fact that it's a young centre half and he's trying to get him out of trouble. That's fine. Point. I've absolutely no problem with that. I just, in my opinion, I just thought, where the fuck are you going? Because you know what? If Kabak gets to the pitch of it and hits it, and it hits the Leicester player and he goes through, he still has to beat Alisson. That's, you know what I mean? That was my thought process on it. But look, we move on. Let's finish off. Harvey Barnes makes it 3-1. He gets put through again over the top. He's plenty of time. He opens his body. It's a good finish, and that's game over. We're chasing them when we get caught. Yeah, absolutely. But look, lads, it's a defeat. We move on. We go into the Champions League now against Leipzig. We've Everton in the derby. Then on Saturday evening at 5:30. What do we want to see from this week, Grizz, before we go?
We want to see a win, a positive result, because cup games, unfortunately, the next game is all about the result as opposed to the performance. So yeah, we can catch up in the league somehow and stay in the race for top four, but the Champions League means we need to get a result. It's that kind of competition, obviously, being a cup competition. I'm hoping that the change of competition, the freshness, the buzz will come back. It's Champions League. We've conquered Europe before. I truly believe we can recover. I was going to burst out in the song, but I stopped because I looked at the time. But I'm hoping that we can recover the likes of Fabinho, Naby, Jota, and I think it will be key. Let's just not look. There's nothing we can do just except pray that we don't lose players every week. Yeah. That's all we got to do. If we have our good players on the pitch, we're still the best team in the league. We just got to hope and pray that we don't get any injuries. And that's simple as that. That's the only thing we can do at the moment, and support. So I'm hoping, I'm still positive. I think we can turn this around. I think Champions League will freshen minds. and then hopefully we can get a positive result, because there's no outstanding teams in Europe. So by the time our better players come back, we will be as good as anyone, and as a greater chance as anyone out there.
Seany, what do you want to see from the next two?
Like Grizz said, I just want to see results, Gav, because I think this brittleness in the squad will only go away once results start going our way. Performances don't really matter much, because we perform well against Leicester and we got beat. We perform. I think the only game where you could say we weren't really at it was Brighton. I think if you turn around and say we deserved to lose that, we were behind in the City game. They were in the ascendancy. We gave away 2 goals, whatever. But we were well in that game. We got the results against Spurs and West Ham, which show you that we still are capable. But I think a bedrock of results now. I think we've Leipzig, Everton, and then I'm not sure who the next game is. I think it might be, who is it?
I'll tell you now. I have Sheffield United
Well, anyway,
in my head, but that's because I read something.
That's
earlier.
right. It is Sheffield United.
Yeah, it is.
So a bedrock of results will help with the mentality, as well as returning bodies to go on and do something. Because look, if you get past Leipzig, now I'm absolutely not looking past them, because I've watched them the past week and they are very impressive. They're a good outfit, and it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be tough 2 legs, but it's a massive test, and it's a big chance for us to, like, as a catalyst for the rest of the season, to go on, because there's still a lot to play for here. There's a lot of pride at stake. Don't get that twisted. It's still there to be playing for, and I think with the likes of a Jota returning, it's a fucking shot in the arm that we need. And I'd like to see on Tuesday, if possible, Davies and Kabak. That's what I'd like to see. That's what I want to see. Something different. Maybe not a 4-3-3. Maybe a change of shape. Maybe a change of approach. Just something different. Because there's no point doing this 4-3-3. It's not working for us. And there's no point playing Henderson and Fabinho, because they're playing well. But like you said, Gav, look at the results. It's not working for us in the whole.
Okay. Keith, what do you want to see next two?
Yeah, I mean, I think the lads hit the nail on the head. Results is all that matters. Performances don't, because our performances haven't been bad. We just haven't been getting the goals. You know, we haven't been punishing teams when we should be. So if you get a few poxy 1-0s together, it doesn't matter about the performance, because the confidence will build from the wins. It's amazing what 3 points will give you. I'm there giving out about VAR earlier. Well, you know, players can give out about things, you know, oh, we were this, we were that. If you're winning games, you're fresh as a daisy and you're raring to go into the next one. And that's how they build that confidence up. It's not about, Seany said earlier, 7-0 against Palace. We probably only had 8 shots or 9 shots on goal. 7 of them went in. Do you know what I mean? We took our chance, which we haven't done in games. So it's just about getting the wins on board. We have something else that Seany just said there. I think they just need to change the formation a bit, because Leipzig play weird formations. They play, I think, 3-4-2-1 or something mad like that. So we need to try and just change things up, and we have players that can do that. Do you know what I mean? But maybe Klopp just feels can't do it at the moment, just wants us tried and tested to get them wins on the board. But, you know, this isn't a normal season. The Klopp isn't a normal Klopp at the moment, and we just have to hope that we can see our way through the next few games. Look, Everton, they're not on a great run at the moment. The derby's the derby, but let's say we can go in and do something there. Leipzig, tricky game, but, you know, not the worst. I'm not fearing Leipzig. They're a good team, but I'm not fearing them. Then we've Sheffield United. Then we have Fulham at Anfield. Then, you know, Wolves, I think, could be after that. So we've got a run. If we can get 4 league wins and get through in the Champions League, the whole picture looks different. And whether we do that by winning 4-0, 5-0, or whether we do it with scaldy 1-0s, it's you take stock of where you are then, and then you're getting bodies back, you're getting your Jota back, you're getting Naby Keita back, you're getting whoever else is out at this stage. I can't remember that many. Fabinho was coming back into some sort of fitness. You're getting Simicas is there that you could probably rest Andy Robbo if you needed. You're getting Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain fitter that you can probably give a game to. Do you know what I mean? And your squad is looking that bit bigger. But every time we say this, someone else goes out. So we just have to hope for a bit of luck as well. But if we put 5 wins, 6 wins, including the Champions League games, I think the picture looks different in the next, 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm just taking it one game at a time. I think I'm looking at Leipzig during the week, and I just want to come out with some sort of positive result, whether that's in a way draw, a goal, a 1-1 draw, something just something to just settle us. And then going into the derby, I think, I don't care how fatigued or whatever you are, Liverpool should be remembering the derby at Goodison and absolutely going for their throat from the first minute. And let's see how it goes. But we've said this before about a run of fixtures that you have a chance in them, and we haven't taken those chances. But I think we just, like I said earlier, we need some sort of spark, and hopefully we get that during the week against Leipzig, and it pushes us on through the next couple of league games.
Well, Gav, a Champions League win, a Champions League game win, and a derby win sort of gives you that spark.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
The games that we need to take.
Yeah, even a spark, even something against Leipzig, you can take away and go, we're in the ascendancy in that tie, going back to the second leg, and then we're going into the derby, and you don't know what can follow on from there. Now, having said that, we could probably lose them fucking both, and then we're sitting here next Sunday going, for fuck's sake, So it's just a case of, for me, taking it a game at a time and seeing where it can take us. Lads, it's been an absolute pleasure. Do you want to give me a man of the match, Chris?
Man of the match, you've put me on the spot there. It's got a.
You want to say a Leicester player, Grizz?
We're not allowed to say a Leicester player now?
No.
Fuck that.
Henderson was man of the match for me.
Yeah, I got the same.
Okay, then whatever. Then I'll go Henderson as well. Then.
Okay.
Yeah, Henderson for me as well.
Yeah, okay. So it's just like I watch us all the fucking same.
Yeah. But no, there wasn't the case. I didn't think we were bad, but standout performances, I don't think there was many. I thought the Mo's goal, right? We didn't really talk about it. Mo's goal was excellent, right? It was what he's best at. It's instinct. Do you know what I mean? The ball comes to him. Reminded me of the Newcastle goal last year when Bobby done a little flick and drag and laid him, set him up for it. I know it was a different goal altogether. He runs across and fires it in, but it was the little drag back, and Mo just hit it in. It was a great goal. But his game, he wasn't great. You know what I mean? So he wouldn't give it to Mo. Like, none of the forwards were great. Henderson was the standout performer for us yesterday.
Okay. Right, Henderson all around. I think that's about it, lads. Don't forget, check out Tayrock Watches at tayrock.com. Enter Daytrippers 15 for your 15% discount. And look, go and support them. Their stuff is really, really good. And by supporting them, as I always say, you support us. Thanks a million to everyone in the chat tonight. You've been excellent. The discussion has been brilliant.
Some of them been excellent. Some of them haven't pressed the like button, so that works against them. Yeah. Well, it's true, isn't it? It's true, isn't it?
That works against. You're saying that works against them as if you're saying that it works against them as if you're collating some sort of data, but we know you're fucking not, because you don't collate fuck all. Because I fucking know you're not. Listen, I know you're not, Chris.
All right, look, we've got 24. After that comment of mine, we've got 24 likes. So that's something.
224 likes we have.
Yeah, we had 200 before I spoke. So come on, guys. On your way out, just press the like.
Oh my God. Hit the like button on your way out, hit subscribe, like, share, all that sort of stuff. As for the week ahead, I know the forum is tomorrow. We will have a match preview of some sort on Tuesday night. That could be a carnage, I don't know yet. Grizz refuses to tell us. Wednesday is the midweek fix with Jamie and 3 of us 4. Thursday will probably be a special preview of Everton, which could be a carnage. Grizz refuses to tell us. And on Friday is a Friday forecast. Looking forward to the weekend's Premier League games, because Grizz he literally only wants to tell us about the shows that day, and then expects everything to be done. So that's how we work. Isn't that right, Grizz?
It's the best way. Way.
For you it is. That's it. I'd like to thank you all for joining us. It's been has it been therapy, lads? Because I think people wanted therapy tonight. I thought it was quite therapeutic.
Well, we don't. The thing about this show, we say it all the time, is we're not overly reactionary. So that's why I think, we don't come on screaming, shout. There's a lot of screaming and shouting earlier, talking over each other. Yeah. But generally, we just get on and we chat, and we don't get too sort of reactionary. And if people find that therapeutic, happy days.
Georgie, the Leicester City fan, is in there. He says big respect to you and all the best for the rest of the season. Absolutely the same to you, Georgie. And I think the City fan that does be in here quite a bit was in there as well. Asked how the lads were. So good win for them, good weekend for them as well. That's it. We're out of here. Definitely over and out.